And it's time for the Bucks Cavs portion of our Thursday edition of the program. I'm Bart Winkler, as I have been throughout the whole show that I've been doing today. Bucks lose to the Cavaliers tonight. I kind of got my eye on the Warriors-Nets game. The Nets put up 91 points in the first half. If I heard that right, it's the third highest first half ever. But Patrick Baldwin Jr. is in the game and dominating. He's getting bench minutes. Warriors are banged up. He's got 16 minutes right now, 6 to go in that game. Warriors down 30. 5 of 6 from 3, 17 points. Probably the best game that Patrick Baldwin Jr. is having or has had since his senior season of high school. So watching that, keeping an eye on the Celtics were down big. They've crawled back against the Pacers, so keeping an eye on that one because I'm a part of the Sickos committee, I am keeping an eye on this bowl game. Western Kentucky, an underdog against South Alabama. They're up in the first quarter of, not sure what the bowl game is. I think it's one of the potato ones. I couldn't quite tell you. But the Bucks lose tonight. The Bucks lose a game tonight. That is a bummer. Carl's right. This does not look like McGuire's. I am not at McGuire's tonight. Tim Shea is there. I don't know how long we're going to go. I got little planned. I don't know who's joining us, but I do plan on Tim Shea live at the holiday party at McGuire's. McGuire's is a bar in West Dallas where really only Tim goes. There's a holiday party there today, and our guy Tom the teacher, he went down there at 3 when it opened today. He went down there when it opened today for the holiday party, at least. So he was our man on the scene there. Tim Shea's down at McGuire's tonight. Even if we don't talk to Tim, I am planning for, I don't want to call it a huddle because I feel like that's too on the nose, but I'm going to call it a Bart Winkler hurry up. We're going to do a Bart Winkler hurry up show on either a Thursday in January at McGuire's or possibly a Wednesday when the Bucks play. I got to iron out the details and see if Danny Mac will pay me at all to be down there, because Tim's so every season, every holiday season, there's charity work, and McGuire's has become the charity work of this program. You know where I was at tonight is I was at Stubby's off of North and Humboldt. They're closing on Friday. The Gastropub. That's been a spot I've gone to a time or two right on a river. So I saw that they were closing, and I won $50 in gift cards there for a bowling tournament we did for work like the month before COVID. And so we had to use them. We used the gift cards tonight. We did a little bowling event, and then COVID happened and like everybody was gone. But there's a TV in our office that constantly showed highlights of this bowling event. So I was like, oh, that person used to work here. That person used to work here. That person used to. So that was fun. Zach says, good effort tonight. Yeah, Bucks, they went down big early and then they crawled back. And then the Cavs took a nice lead into halftime. Then the Bucks won the third and fourth quarters, got it to we got it under 10 at one point. It was like 12 for a while. They got under 10. They actually got it down to 6. And then Joe Ingles' shot hit the kind of got stuck in the bucket there. I'm not at McGuire's. Tom, the teacher, was at McGuire's earlier today. Tim, the substitute teacher, is there now. Again, this is their much advertised holiday party. It's so loud, Tim says.
It's so crowded,
he can't hear me.
It's
Give
so
me a
crowded.
tour of McGuire's. I hear people.
Finally.
Whoa!
I think I need it back to feel it. Merry Christmas.
How many people are in there? 10?
At least 15.
Yeah, but there's still more people on the machines than there are at the bar.
I mean, look at this.
Are the machines loose?
They are. Tonight they are.
For the holiday party?
Look at there's Mr. McGuire.
Danny.
He's eating. He's eating.
What's the grub special tonight?
They have roast beef and ham.
Roast beef and ham?
Beans.
And beans. Where did the food come from?
Funzels.
Oh. It's not just like something he cooked in his trailer?
He's got plenty of room, he said. Still come on down.
Yeah, tonight it's not going to happen tonight.
I talked to him already about our maybe the 5th or 3rd or the bowl game.
Will he pay us?
I don't know if he'll pay us.
Is there a Laura there?
Laura's here. She's right here.
Oh, hey. Cheers. Look at you.
Jamie's got a good eye.
Jamie's got a good eye. So, did they have a game on tonight or what?
Yeah, they had the game on. We had it on.
Was it good? Did you watch it?
The Bucks game?
I mean, it wasn't good, but did you watch it?
It wasn't good. Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care to talk to you about the Bucks. I just want to know more about McGuire's, this bar on in West Dallas.
We have credit for 3 people that came here that listened to the podcast. We have Tom, and then the other 2 we didn't catch your name. So they're probably watching right now. Danny said, "Where are you guys from?" And they said, "Oh, we listen to Bart." And
this is kind of like, now I'm kind of feeling bad because, like, I got partners of the podcast that are financially invested in the show, and
I know.
Make a comment.
Yeah. So if you're watching, just give me your name.
Well, if we're gonna keep doing this with McGuire's, I'm gonna need some money.
I know.
What do you think? Will you give us $100 to do a show there?
He might.
I got a feeling that we could do a show there, and I could just walk behind the till and take $100 out and leave.
Or you could just get your own beer.
Yeah. Well, that would be good too. The McGuire's holiday party. Wow, it is in full swing.
It's hopping.
This is weird seeing you at the bar where there's people.
It's weird being here with people.
Yeah, they got to start paying up if we're going to keep doing this. Not to be. It's capitalism world.
All right. Do you need me for anything else?
No.
I mean, I'm eating, and I'm drinking.
You got roast beef.
I got roast beef. My roast beef is getting cold.
Let me see it.
No, I'm not drinking my cold.
All right, Timmy. Cheers. Tell Laura cheers.
Laura, cheers.
Cheers. Miller Lite.
Have a Miller Lite.
All right,
Goodbye,
Tim.
Bart.
See you, buddy.
Merry Christmas.
All right, you too. All right, Tim Shea. Wow. A shocking turn of events. An absolute shocking turn of events where McGuire's had more than just... Usually there's 4 people in there. There's Danny McGuire, Tim, Danny's Shadow, and then Tim's Shadow. Those are usually the 4 that they count for the census. Oh, yeah, I can get just streaming updates from Laura, who's there watching. It's so loud in here. All right, interesting. I do want to talk a little bit about the Bucks. Want to talk more about the NBA specifically, and then I want to wrap up with some baseball. We haven't talked much about the Carlos Correa thing. If you want to join, the StreamYard link is posted in the YouTube channel. I tweeted that out as well. Again, all I just really wanted to do was see if this party was going on, and regretting not being there, but good to have a night at home. Your boy's going to be busy the next couple days. CBS Sports Radio on Thursday. That'll be on a bunch of different stations throughout the state. The Zone in Madison, one of the stations in Green Bay, and WKTY, and of course WSSP. So I will be back on WSSP in less than 24 hours, filling in for Zach Gelb. And then Friday night, if you're going somewhere for some reason, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. But that doesn't mean I have to get out in the snow. I know that everybody's panicked about the snow. So that's where we're at. Some of the stuff on the Bucks. Again, the Bucks 114 to 106. Interesting week for the Bucks. They get blown out by the Grizzlies, which, chalk it up to whatever you want to chalk it up to. When there's a game like that, you tend to think, okay, hopefully that's a blip, right? They lose by 41 points. They then beat the Jazz pretty handily. Jazz they started hot, kind of around 500 now. Not sure if they want to compete or tank. And then the Pelicans, a good team, they beat the other night, and that was not a decisive game, but pretty, I thought, a smooth win for the Bucks. And then tonight they played very well after they stopped playing very badly, was the thing. I like that they stayed in it. I like that they still had a chance. You could tell where the mentality is of this Bucks game, though, where the team is. When Ingles had that last shot at the end, he had a chance to bring it to within 3. The ball got stuck at the rim, and the bench, if you could see the bench, they were like giggling. So not that they're not taking it serious, but the Bucks know that these are just games that they're playing. Ultimately, the playoffs are going to be the test. But if you'd like to be concerned, I saw a good tweet here from Damon Rangula, who said the Cavs have the unique size and roster to give the Bucks a ton of problems. Boston may be better, but maybe the Cavs are a tougher out. And also, this is a team that's a little younger, athletic, kind of like the Grizzlies. So the Bucks, if they're going to go with this depth and these veterans, you have to keep up with the teams that are just going to outplay you because they're younger. And so do the Bucks need to find a guy that's a little younger? Do they need to find a guy more athletic? Do you try to work in some of these younger guys like Marjan, who got good run tonight? Do you try to do that? Marjan started again, actually played closer to starters minutes. They started him as a favor the last game. 20 minutes, 11 points. Giannis, obviously the big story. They need somebody else to step up. And again, no Middleton. So we're judging these games without Middleton, but Giannis 45 and 14. Let's see here. Vincent says, I'm watching from Montreal. Let's go. We love our friends up north. Laura says, why do you have a Ham hat on? This is West Ham. They are my club in the EPL. I've told the story a time or two, but I met a guy in England, not in England, but from England in Vegas. I said, I need an EPL team. He says, well, I like West Ham. They're never good. They're never bad. They're always right in the middle. And I said, that is perfect for what I root for. So that works. Matt, yes, 5 to 9 will be the time, 5 to 9 p.m. The Zach Gelb Show Thursday night. And then 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., I'll be filling in for JR Sports Brief. Chad wants to know why I'm not at McGuire's Christmas party. I'm a bad human. I'm a bad human and an even worse friend. And also, Tim can go there and be man in the street, but Danny's going to pay my ass if he's going to get me in that bar. That's what I've decided. Josh says, I hope the Grizz and Cavs games are just a blip. This team should win sleepwalking. Yeah, I don't like the big deficits. But again, no Middleton, and we'll see where they go from here. The game that I'm interested in, obviously now, Friday's a big one. I will be doing a Bucks-Nets post-game show Friday on CBS Sports Radio. Yeah, I'll talk about the game on Friday night on CBS Sports Radio. That should be fun because the Nets, I think, have won 9 of 10. Took it to the Warriors tonight for sure. Again, you can join me on the StreamYard. Austin is there at the gun show.
Bart.
Look at those pipes. He's got the Middleton jersey on.
Hey, man. Doesn't matter this game. Doesn't matter. So I was kind of hoping to catch in a little on you and what you think. So I can only watch the Bucks game sometimes online when I get the sites. With that NBA.
What are you saying? You illegally stream the Bucks games?
Yeah, when only NBA and TNT lets me watch it within market. That's how I can watch it.
Oh, so what about when it's on Bally's?
So, so they were down 41 to 20. So I started wrapping Christmas presents. I was like, okay, see a couple brick threes, whatever. And
are your presents wrapped as well as that tree's decorated in the background there?
Oh my God! Don't look at that. Don't look at that.
Austin's got a Christmas tree in his room. That's a bush you brought in from the backyard.
Oh no, look at that thing.
Jeez.
Merry Christmas, Bart.
Merry Christmas.
Hey,
well, I don't have a tree in my house. See, I don't have a tree here.
No, that's a fine piano, though. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to, like, let's say that I'm watching the Brewers, I can call into a post-game show and get all worked up, but that's different because I know that the Bucks are going to make the playoffs, and this is a one-off, and they already beat them twice, so I can, if like the Bucks they weren't necessarily in it, like they tried, and they came back from being down 21. That was the biggest deficit I saw. And they still came back and wanted to win, but it's like this team has it in them. I don't know. Maybe their, mindset is on what's in the next couple of days, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they feel like we feel, and it's like, okay, we're just trying to get to the playoffs. It doesn't matter if we're the 1 seed. It doesn't matter. What did they have? 2-3 years with Bud when they were the best? And they're just kind of like, okay, we don't need that because when we weren't, we won. And if we are, great. But if we're not, that doesn't affect what we can do.
I think with the NBA and it's specific to where like the Bucks are, because this isn't an NBA thing. I was reading some stuff about the Bulls today. The Bulls are a half game out. They're playing terrible. The locker room's fighting with each other. They're 12-18. But every Bulls game is like a big deal because, they're fighting for something. Even with the Warriors, I still think that they're going to be a top 3 seed. And I still say they come out of the West. But they're out of the playoffs right now, kind of like Chicago. They're 15-17. They had a brutal road trip. That the highlight of that road trip must have been when Klay Thompson sat down with me, I gotta believe. But then you have some of these teams where like the Kings, oh my God, the Kings are 16-13 and they're above the play-in line. So in the NBA, the regular season certainly matters for a lot of teams. It doesn't matter as much for this Bucks team because this Bucks team can try as hard as they did tonight. They will still win 48 games. They are good. They have the best player in the world, so they will still win a bunch of games. Joe Ingles came back, finally scored his first couple of points. Middleton didn't play. The team was mostly lethargic. I don't think Bobby had a good night. Only 6 points for him, 3 of 7. Lopez wasn't as good, but he had 14. Drew only had 9 points, 3 of 12. So, yeah, for a team like the Bucks, this is much more of a journey, a marathon. And then that's why we got to find out what we like, what the takeaway over the last week, I think, is okay against some of these younger teams that are a little more athletic.
Yeah, they're speeding by them.
We got to figure out how to stop that. We got to figure out, and again, it's just one game, and then you're going to go to a 7-game series, so you'll have time to adjust. But that's my takeaways. I feel strongly and good about the Bucks as I did before this week. They got 2 really nice wins, 2 losses that are a little concerning if you just look at the score. My takeaway of it is I just, they're a better team, but if the other team just runs a little faster and they got fresher legs, that might be the issue. So whether they can find something to do in the trade market, I still think play some of your younger guys, and you're starting to see more Marjan.
Yeah, I saw some Bojan play. I didn't get to see a whole bunch of what he did, but people forget that it is December, and what is like 90% of NBA fans say that they don't start watching until December or paying attention until December, nonetheless. And I wanted to also say, I like Hot Take Jake, but I heard his voicemail. This Middleton trade shit, it all started as a joke, and it needs to stop. It just needs to stop.
Well, it's been around forever.
Mids, that wouldn't have happened.
It rebubbled because I had jokingly said that Tim wanted him traded. which he doesn't.
Right, and then it just transpired in this thing where like people are like actually talking about Trey Middleton again. Is it fucking Ram? Is he in these people's heads? Is he tweeting at people, talking to get rid of mids again? Because without mids in that 2020, or was that the 2021 season? I don't remember. COVID was fucked. When they won, was it when in the Hawks series when Giannis went out, right?
Yeah, Hawks.
Okay. If we didn't have fucking Middleton, wouldn't have won that series. And then the next year, he gets injured and we lose in 7 fucking games. And people are casting this guy off. The guy's a fucking all-star. He's a stud. Giannis thrives with him, and so does Drew. And I just need people to back off. The whole thing started as a joke on this trade Middleton. And people are creaming their pants for getting rid of Middleton for some guy that's 38 years old. No offense, I'm 32.
Larry says, I wish I was as horny and hammered as Austin.
6 beers, 1 whiskey. Does that make me hammered? It might.
What's the occasion?
I was wrapping presents.
Of course.
Why would you ask me something like that?
Of course. I'm not a good rapper.
Oh, no, I'm terrible at it.
Well, my wife helped me. She said one tip. She said one tip is you use too much paper.
That's where I can't figure out. I'm down to using 3 pieces of tape, but the paper is a mess. It's all folded. It's bad. My girlfriend's gone, so I wrapped her presents tonight, and yeah, they look like shit.
Yeah, what's the thought that counts? That's why you just need to go with the bags and the paper.
Yeah, but then no. Okay, once we get to us talking about how we wrap presents, Bart.
Yeah, I think we're both.
I'm let you get out with your sports show before the listeners start dropping.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye, bud.
See ya.
Thank you.
Austin, Merry Christmas to him. He's been fun to get to know a little bit throughout the this podcast era of the show. Let's see. A couple of other people that have commented, a few comments from Alex on YouTube. Alex says, got to keep the 1 seed, keep the regular season interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can see that if you're like, all right, let's get the 1 seed. What did the Celtics do? If you're just doing it to stay interested. Cavs are right there too, though. Cavs are right there. Bucks 22-9, Celtics 22-10, Cavs 22-11, and then the Nets are 20-12. And they had a really nice week. They've ripped off 7 in a row, and that's who the Bucks see on Friday. I think that's going to be a very interesting game because I put it at the tiers of the Bucks are. I've been saying the Bucks are going to win the East. The Celtics, I can see them winning the East, but I think that series goes 7. But the Cavs are certainly, they were hot to start the season, and they've still been playing well. You can't beat them at home, 16-2. And so they're going to have something to say about it. Mitchell's been great for them. The Nets, the drama seems to have faded, and they've just been playing basketball. And if the Nets do that, then they're going to be taken more seriously. The Sixers have ripped off 6 in a row. The Knicks have ripped off 8 in a row. I think the Heat, their best days are behind them. And then, Pacers, Hawks, just going down the standings here. Bulls, Raptors, Wizards, Magic, Hornets, Pistons. So if you try to look at what a playoff matchup could be, if you're the 1 seed, you take on somebody like the Pacers or Hawks, and then you're going to take on somebody like you could have the Nets or the Sixers, and the other side could be the Celtics or Cavs. So the way that the East is trending right now is that there's going to be 5 really good teams fighting for the Final 4 spots: Bucks, Celtics, Cavs, Nets, Sixers. And I would rank them in that order, in the order they're in the standings. I would rank them in that order of how good I think they are. I think a lot of people are going to think that the Celtics are still better than the Bucks. That's why I want Christmas Day. Everything that Austin and I just said about, what the regular season is. And, I think we're keeping a good perspective. The analogy I had at the beginning of the year was this is like a Broadway play. We're watching all the rehearsals, and then we're going to watch the real show come April. but they got to beat the Celtics on Christmas Day. They just gotta. I can't handle the narrative. One of the things that I mention a lot is winning doesn't make me feel as good as losing hurts. And so I don't want that to be a narrative. But I'm really excited for Friday now. I mean, the Nets, they've made themselves good again. They were right around 500 and ripped off 7 in a row, as I said. So there's a lot to be happy about in the East if you're an NBA fan. East certainly better than the West at this point. West certainly has some contenders, but I'm really interested in the East. So again, no Middleton. It's still a little harder to judge when they're not at full strength. Ingles is still working his way back. Connaughton, I'd like to see him do a little more in 20 minutes. His stat line is almost like he's in there for 8 minutes. I'd like to see him do a little more. Javon Carter had a bunch of shots, missed some that could have been timely, but still like him. And then Portis, not his best game. He had the worst plus minus of the night, -18, if that floats your boat. A couple more comments here on YouTube. Eric says, I don't know much of Ingles, but he seems like he sucks. No, Ingles is good. Ingles hasn't played in a long time. Ingles, I think, will give us what we were hoping Mirotic did. A guy that can come in and knock down some big threes. Or like a Teletovic. Remember him? You're not going to get 25 minutes a game out of Ingles. Ingles in the playoffs is going to give you 10 minutes, spot up threes. Hopefully, like tonight would have been such a big moment for him. They're down 6. They get the ball. They get it out to Ingles. He knocks it, and it sticks in there. And again, the team, it was funny. It wasn't being taken as seriously. A lot of comments about Middleton. Middleton's not getting traded. Middleton is concerning. Middleton seems to show up every 1 in 5 games. So that's that. What else do we have? Q says 2 40-plus point games in a row from Giannis. Good to see him bounce back after a couple of duds. Giannis was great. They were going to need 65 from Giannis to win that game tonight, maybe. Here's something that I'm going to talk about to a national audience in the next couple of days when I fill in on CBS, is that the NBA, I just told you what I think the regular season is. It's trying to get ready for the playoffs. And it's the other teams trying to figure out, are we going to be a playoff team? But narratively, all the NBA regular season exists for is to determine who the MVP is going to be. And I think a lot of people have decided, like, Jokic wore a suit last night, so now everyone wants to give it to Jokic again. Some of the dumbest stuff will sway that narrative, and it's really stupid and annoying. Just checking in on that Celtics score. They did lose 117 to 112 to the Pacers, so they're on a bit of a losing streak. The final in Brooklyn is 143 to 113 over the Warriors. And Pat Baldwin Jr. was 17 points. Crazy. Some more comments. Q says, really want to see the true starting 5 healthy before the trade deadline. Hard to judge the team with an inconsistent lineup. Yeah, one thing with Middleton is, and if they want to, if they're resting him and taking it easy with him, that's cool. But since he came back, it doesn't seem like he's playing that much. Just pull up his game log here. I'm almost surprised now in the games that he is playing. I know that you want to, again, take it easy and not – he hasn't played since, well, against Memphis. So he missed the last 3. Played some in between there. Got hurt against Houston. So I'd like to see him play a little bit more. Friday will be interesting against the Nets. I'm very interested in that game. Very, very interested in that game. A lot more than I maybe was a week and a half ago. Vinny says Bucks versus Grizz final. Oh, God. I picked Warriors coming out of the West. I know they can't win on the road, and I know they're hurt right now. If I had a non-homer pick for out of the West, I would take a non-homer. And Warriors are homer. I mean, you guys know. If I had a non-homer pick out of the West, I don't know. Yeah, Denver. The Clippers? West playoffs are going to be good too. Tim Shea is back, I think. He linked back into the show, and I pulled him up, and there's just a black screen. So Alex says Nuggets. Now I have 2 Tim Shea boxes.
Sorry.
What's going
I had
on?
to disconnect. I thought I'd come back now that I'm done enjoying you. Get rid of the other one.
What, did it die down already?
No, it's just I went to a corner. Now I can hear you. Can you hear Josh Groban?
Well, what's
back?
up? What's new at McGuire since I last talked to you?
I thought I'd come back and talk to you. Talk about the Bucks or the Brewers or whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, I did want to actually, if we could do a few minutes on baseball.
Sure.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
Well, because the big news was Correa in the middle of the night doesn't sign with the Giants, he goes to the Mets. Tim, this ain't working. It's not going to work.
What?
You are.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
All right, then I'll just go.
It was good to see you.
Okay, goodbye.
Yeah. God, now I probably got to edit that out of the podcast, you son of a dick. Nah, I'll keep it in. Who cares? We're wrapping up. The Brewers have done nothing. They've done nothing. And I think that with baseball and Steve Cohen and what the Mets are doing, this offseason shows more than ever that baseball's done. Baseball is EPL. Baseball is the English Premier League, where you're going to have a bunch of rich teams, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man U, Man City, and they're always going to be good. And then maybe one of these years you get a Leicester City that comes up and wins. But it's just going to be whatever teams can pay the most amount of money. And the Mets, to get Correa, I still a lot of secretive things over how that happened. The Giants had Correa. They were going to do a press conference. They're claiming something happened with the physical. Or maybe did he just have a change of heart? Who knows? The Mets have spent more money. If I saw this right, the Mets have spent more money this offseason than the Reds owner is worth. Shit's wild. Now the Mets have to win. But if you look at a team like the Mets and then you look at what the Brewers are doing, there's no way for them to compete. Then it's over. So I think my anger to the Brewers is going to be more of a like apathy towards baseball. It's just not going to happen for us, which is why in the last 5 years, I will be even retroactively more mad that they didn't have the opportunity when they had the opportunities to go all in, because now it's gotten away from them. So I'm mad at the Brewers, but I'll say, I'm going to be mad at baseball, but then I just end up being mad at the Brewers again. Spark Guy joins us.
It's like my bat signal hearing people complain about the salaries and baseball's over. I don't know. I disagree still. They still got parity. It doesn't guarantee anything. We'll see if Stevie Cohen and all of his money pays for a championship, but it just has not been. It hasn't happened yet. You know, look how many of the Dodgers won since they've been pouring all that money in, or the Yankees. How many have they won? Like, we'll see how this all plays out. And I think,
but I mean, where's the hope for us?
Well,
where's the hope?
Well, that it's not a payroll problem. It's a Mark A problem, right?
I mean, the team's doing everything they can to be competitive. They robbed the Braves out of Contreras. You know, they flipped Colton Wong, who sucks. They flipped Renfroe, who wasn't that good.
It's nothing. They're not. I don't think they're doing all they can. I don't know. I think the Contreras deal, like I said, was fine, but they've literally done nothing. How do the Rays keep making the playoffs? Again, you go through all the teams that have won World Series. It's not just big markets. I just always worry that when that narrative gets started about how certain small teams can't compete, that it would lead to a salary cap. And the only reason that they would want that is just to keep the salaries down. Look at all the NFL teams that have been terrible. I think the Brewers' problem is more mismanagement than anything. And I think it shows how good Stearns was, that he was able to do so well with all of those constraints. So I just don't have as negative an attitude. I have more of a negative attitude toward what Antanasio refuses to do. It makes me worried for long-term future for baseball in Milwaukee, you know?
I still think it's funny that like we don't like baseball because of there's JM says MLB needs a cap. I stopped watching baseball for 2 years. I'm done. We have no chance. But a salary cap is socialism. It's not capitalism.
Yeah.
So in sports, we want that. But
is it though? Is it socialism?
Well, it's not capitalism.
Yeah, but isn't it? It's actually what's the term? It's like corporatism. It's where you're entrenching for the rich, because what you're doing is you're basically letting the richest of the rich withhold money from. I know people don't like to hear this, but the players are not the rich people in the equation. For every guy like Carlos Correa that makes $300 million on a contract, there's dudes that are making, $1.5 million for less than 2 years in Major League Baseball. The rich people are the owners. They're the ones that have the unbelievable 7 generations of wealth. They're the ones that benefit from a salary cap. So I don't think it is socialism. I think it's more, it would be socialism if everybody was leveled out, but you have a specific scenario where specific rich people get to screw over less rich people. I don't know if that makes sense.
Chad asked me a question. I'm going to divert to this question. He says, Bart, how many segments of Rogers Talk Hate tomorrow night, 5 to 9 on CBS Sports Radio? I'm going to do it right at 6 o'clock. I'm talking Rogers at 6 o'clock. I have to, right?
Man,
I'll be measured. I'll put my professionalism cap on, but I got to talk a little bit about the Packers. And at 6 o'clock, see, this is what's great. I'm on CBS Sports Radio Thursday night, 5 to 9 is the Zach Gelb show. Since WSSP no longer is local programming, I don't know if you guys heard, I will be on starting at 5. I will be picked up then by stations across the state, La Crosse, Madison, and Green Bay. All of those stations, affiliates of my favorite midday friend. So Unit and I are going to be back on the same network.
Same team.
And I think I might give him a shout out.
You have to.
At 6 o'clock, I'm going to come on and say, we just got joined by a lot of great Wisconsin affiliates throughout the state. I love what they're doing in Green Bay at WDUZ. I love what they're doing in La Crosse. Grant Bills is a superstar in the making. And all of these stations anchored by a sports heavyweight in Bill Michaels, one of the guys who taught me everything I know about the business.
The only downside is the timing of that between 5 and 9 p.m. on a Thursday night. He might not hear it because that is a prime time for a cigar dinner.
Ooh, that's right. I'll have to call nice Ash and Waukesha and make sure I'm on the speakers.
Back to your Rogers thing, though. Besides Rogers, what about, did you tweet that about what's her name from The Athletic that you had on over the weekend? McAfee, just destroying her today for no reason.
Well, he destroyed her, and then he tried to get her in her good graces today.
No, but he apologized for mischaracterizing her statement, right? He was like, yeah, I said that there were anonymous sources. I was wrong. So he did for about 45 seconds, make it right. And then he spent 15 minutes just completely ripping on the article and being a jerk. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him and all of his little lackeys that he's got in the background.
Well, I got a couple lackeys here. I got you, and Badger Bloodies is joining the show. What's up, Badger Bloodies?
Good evening, Bart.
Wow.
That's how you do it, right?
Good evening, Badger Bloodies.
Thank you. Thank you. So, yeah, just wanted to weigh in on what you guys are saying. First of all, the salary cap issue, I think it's high time for a salary cap in baseball. And I don't understand the argument that it might even be socialism. Is there not a salary cap in plenty of other sports that works fine?
Well, it's hard to take a league that doesn't have one and then make it have one.
Well, I understand that, but sports not only implement different rules as they grow and evolve, but I'm pretty sure that there were sports that didn't have a salary cap that implemented them. I mean, sports always change and evolve. Why is that any different?
I don't know. That's why we've argued for baseball for a long time. But
well, right. But there's people that don't think they need it. And I mean, yeah, just because there's no guarantee that these teams can spend, the only thing that it does guarantee is that small markets have almost no chance of winning a championship.
Disagree with that.
Well,
Just
who wins championships? I mean, the Rays have gotten there. They don't win.
Yeah, look at who has won over the past decade. They're all in the top quarter of spending in Major League Baseball. Like, yeah, there's Cinderella teams.
Astros, Braves, Dodgers, Nationals, Red Sox, Astros, Cubs. Oh, there was the Royals.
Right, and they managed that because they had such
they had a great manager.
Right up at this point.
That's for every team that is struggling in baseball, there's just as many in football. So if again, the whole idea is simply the idea behind it is get a salary cap and you'll increase parity. I just don't think that's true. I think the main reason why there'd be any push for salary cap in Major League Baseball so that the owners get to keep more of their money.
Well, that's the case in any sport, though. Like, obviously, the owners are the ones that are making the most money long term. Like you said, I mean, it's true that not everyone's getting the huge contracts, and guys are lucky to get, anything above like the rookie contract. But yeah, it's the owners are getting rich in any sport.
But they want to get richer, and that's the main reason why they would push for it. I just don't see, as far as parity goes, you look at the NFL, how can you argue for parity with the NFL? AFC, we spent like 20 years where every year it was either Patriots, Colts, Steelers. Isn't there that big stretch where it was just them? We've run through periods like that in the NFL as well. I just don't think it would increase parity. I think it would just reward owners.
Well, there's a lot of mismanagement. I think what the problem is from a Brewers fan is it just seems like there's no chance.
I agree. And even as a Brewer fan, it's frustrating because I want baseball to stay here.
Okay, here's a hypothetical. If you have a basement-dwelling NFL team, do you feel better about your potential Super Bowl chances long-term than you do if you're the Brewers? Like, do you think the Lions fans were like, oh, we're never going to win one? Like, no, their team is coming up because they've made the right moves. But, like, with the Brewers, you just, it's a – like.
Well, I think the Brewers are more screwed because of the way that the MLB is structured. No. The Lions have been screwed because of the way the team is run.
I would any team that sucks in the NFL, if they draft correctly and make the right moves.
Yeah, like the Jaguars are going to make the playoffs this year. They're going to win.
But that's a big lead
team.
But if they do the right things, they'll be. You just kind of passed over that. If they do the right things, they'll be good. I think Bart, I have a unique perspective on that. I'm a Bears fan. Like they suck because they suck. Like I think people in Milwaukee, Brewer fans have to have a better perspective of. They're not getting over the hump because they're not investing what they need to. They're not doing those things that they need to do. Everybody around here is all about draft and develop, but pretty much any of the good teams at the very end of the day make some moves. Even the teams like the Royals. When the Royals
Jerry feels like you guys are both saying right points.
Yeah, I think the Royals made moves though. Remember when they got to over the hump? They went after Shields the one year. Then they also went after some other people in 2015. Like they made some aggressive moves. At times the Brewers did. I mean, the CC move was like the one move they made, and like. People still talk about it for good reason.
His number should be retired.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For the impact. Austin says, I will hang on to my dying day believing I'll see a Brewers World Series. I'm 31. Austin, you have been drinking a lot. You just told me you were 32. Although once you get into your 30s, you're in your 30s. There's no age. Like I'm 38, but I have to think about it every time I say that. I'm 30.
So what do you think you would see sooner though? Like, okay, what's like a team that you think has no shot of winning a Super Bowl anytime soon? And don't say the Vikings.
Houston.
Okay, Houston. Who do you think has a better chance of winning the Super Bowl versus the World Series in the next 50 years?
The Texans have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. They're terrible right now,
Series.
but you're still saying that. Like, if that's what I mean.
Yeah, I like that point. Spark guy who comes on here to defend the rich. Go ahead.
I just don't see it being that way. I just don't, because like I said, there's teams like the Lions have been around for 60 years. Like they're just horribly mismanaged. There's plenty of other teams like that as well. I just think that's the issue. I think if you're going to take a pie chart, certainly like would have a
but with this offseason, there can't be anything like, even if you're like, man, the Brewers aren't getting to a World Series because of the Brewers. This offseason has to tilt you the other way. Like this offseason's been terrible.
Yeah, but that's Mark's problem. I don't think that's a structural problem. I think that's a Mark problem.
No, I agree with some of these people. Like, don't just pay $18 million to Brandon Drury just to pay a guy. Like, he's got to be worth paying, but also you got to do something. Excuse me.
See, it would be one thing if they were trying, but the lack of effort in the first place is what's so frustrating. Like, at least take a swing at it. You know, where's the bites at the apple we were promised? Come on.
Well, this all goes back to my theory that Mark Attanasio was a bad dad for the first 10 years of his kid's life. And he wasn't present because he was out making millions and billions. And then he wanted to make it up to his kids. So he bought a baseball team because he shared a lot of great memories with his father. And now he and his kids have bonded. And that's going to be the ultimate gift that he gives his kids is a baseball team. And then they're going to move him to Mexico City or some bullshit.
Yep. That's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear that's going to happen, that they would leave. Like that's my biggest fear. That lease is coming up. Like everyone poo-poos it when I say it, but I'm like, what ties does this guy have to Milwaukee? And like you said, would he rather give his kids a team in Vegas and Nashville than Milwaukee? I would think so.
Hey, I just want to say, just because there's a stadium, don't think it's going to be there forever. When I drive into work, the few days a month I work, I take Highway 43 and I drive right over where Borchert Field used to be. So don't be home of the Milwaukee Bears. So don't be thinking that things are going to be here forever. Huh?
On that note, Bart, I got to jump. Keep doing the good work, buddy.
Yeah. Anything for you, Badger Bloodies?
Nope. Good talking, you guys. I mean, I think we both made a good point here.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming on a little more lately.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Looking to catch you on the radio from 5 to 9 tomorrow.
Yeah, on Milwaukee radio once again.
It's a good thing. All right. Have a good one, my man.
All right. See you, buddy. Let's get those WSSP ratings up from the 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. hour. That's what I'm looking for. Check up those ratings. Josh says Yelich happened and the team is effed. One bad signing. That's the problem with baseball with the Brewers is one bad signing can screw the whole thing up. I guess when I started to realize, but an inflection point for me with baseball was the Brewers couldn't remember Corey Knebel. He was so good. He got hurt and he needed a rehab. And the Brewers couldn't afford him. So the Dodgers basically paid him $4.5 million to rehab just in case he got good again. And ever since then, it's been like, I'm trying to get my sandal back on. I wear sandals in my basement because the floor's shit. That's what I'm doing. All right. What else we got coming up? We got me on CBS Sports Radio Thursday. I have Austin, you doll. You didn't need to do that. We have Friday, Horvat. I was going to do my picks with Horvat. Horvat got on the road for travel. It's going to seem like he's mad at me because I was mad about Rodgers, but Horvat got on the road for travel. So my picks on Friday are going to be with Grant Bills, WKTY, Wisco Sports Show, The Zone. And then I will probably do a show Monday morning after all the Christmas stuff. I'll probably jump on YouTube. If anyone's on, people are on. If they're not, they're not. And that's what I'll do. So I think that's where I'm going. I got to open presents on Christmas. I'm going to be into that Bucks Celtics game, but by 7:00, we're only going to be like a third of the way through our presents. And Barty's going to be cooked like a ham, a West Ham. All right, Bucks lose. Brewers can't compete. Packers have the Dolphins. I keep trying to figure out how I'm going to end these shows because I just kind of like end them and nothing happens. But I like ending them with some sentiment. I really appreciate you guys being here. Like, I'm just in my basement. I'm gonna be at the in-laws for Christmas. But I'm just in my basement. Okay. There's some soccer cards I'm working through. There's the TV I watch. There's a toy that's too big for our living room. There's where I used to broadcast. There's the spider webs on my roof or on my ceiling. There's the outside. There's the water heater. There's our Christmas wrapping station. There's probably a problem that the inspector missed. But I'm just in my basement talking to you on a Wednesday. And I really appreciate it. So thank you. 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 Shorewood or Iraq, hard to tell the difference. This basement I'm in could be a basement in any part of the world. And that's the charm. All right, we'll talk to you on the podcast tomorrow. I did tape a little bit prior to this, which you can hear tomorrow, and then also CBS Sports Radio. Merry Christmas.